I'm Saurabh Khemaka. In this video I'm going to demonstrate an artificial intelligence assignment of mine, which I have chosen to be a procedurally generated arena. So this is an Unreal Engine and in the third person mode. So as you can see, this is a 5x5 grid where there are 25 buildings generated of different heights and different platforms protruding out of them. So every time I run the simulation, the buildings are going to be different. Also, if you increase the grid size to more than 11, this thing is going to take more than 5 minutes to generate. So I wanted to see what kind of a gameplay there would be if the objects around the player would oscillate. So here the tiles are being generated around the player and they oscillate in a sine wave motion in the y-axis. So this leaves a trail behind the player. So the tiles behind the player, they take a few seconds to go away. So this would help players to spot each other. This would act as visual indications. So this can potentially remove the use of mini-maps. This same oscillation is also executed by every part of the environment, such as the walls and the platforms. So also you cannot every floor needs to have at least one door on one of its sides. So but you cannot see on which side the door is, so you have to there has to be a trial and error method. So suppose I'm running from another player and I want to get inside a building to hide. So I have to go and check if there's a door or not. So this adds a layer of vulnerability for this player. Also, when I'm inside a building, I cannot see where the door is. So I have to approach the wall to see where the door is. As soon as you get inside a building, the elevators activate, which also implement a sine wave pattern. So how would this help? There's a phenomenon called camping, which is highly discouraged by certain online communities. So when the objects are oscillating around the player, it's very hard to camp. I cannot ambush somebody if they see tiles oscillating around me of a different color than the environment. Even when I'm inside a building, they can spot me from the outside. So this removes all potential camping. If they can shoot through the walls, they can shoot me from the outside. Now, where can this concept go? So suppose there are two teams, which is the assault team and the stealth team. So the stealth team, I can implement that the stealth team does not activate the tiles around them, but they can only do melee. And the assault team, they do activate tiles around them and they have projectile weaponry. This sort of balances the two teams with providing a certain different kind of a gameplay. Also, if there are both assault teams, color coding can help to differentiate the team members. Another gameplay that could be done is that if you turn off all the lights and only the tiles which are there, they emit light. So yeah, this can be done. Now I'm going to talk about the design process. So initially I made this level have tiles, oscillating tiles from the very beginning. So this entire 5x5 grid and the buildings were all tiles. So this made the number of objects to be tens of thousands. So this reduced the frame rate to a great extent. So I felt a need to optimize. So what I did was, whenever I'm not in contact with a building or the ground, they are not split into tiles. So the ground is just a big slab. When I touch the ground, it gets split into 25 slabs, which is the grid size, and only the slab on which I'm standing gets split into the tiles. So this reduced the number of objects and increased the frame rate, and now it is way more smooth than what it was before. So I learned that in procedural generation you need to think ahead of what the data structures need to be. Otherwise, when you encounter an optimization problem, you have to go back and you have to restructure all of your code from the beginning. And I learned how important optimization is. Also by a happy accident, because of the player's speed that I altered and the jump height and the oscillations on the walls, the player can now do certain sort of wall jumping, which was completely unintentional. It is very imperfect right now as it was an accident, but it's fun to do. Thank you for watching.